Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Hallmark very fall movies.
Hi, I'm Brian. I like Hallmark very fall movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Hallmark very fall movies, and this is the
Deck the Hallmark podcast. Wow. Hello, everybody. What is up? What's even going on right now?
What did you say?
What's even going on right now?
You know what's wild is that, Bramble Fest was 3 days ago, right? We had a grand old time.
Grand.
And
It's a grand old time at the Brimble Fest. We had a really, really good time. Is that like anti-America if we change the words? That's not
grand old flag is barely, come on.
That's not.
That's not,
It's not like I'm changing the national
You weren't like,
anthem.
oh, Bramble Fest here.
Well,
You were.
We would
nice.
never.
Yeah.
We would never.
My voice, has sounded better, but you know what I'm predicting, Brand?
What's
that our voices by Thursday for When Calls the Heart will have made a full recovery.
Wow.
That's a bold move, but I'm going to bet the
Bold.
house
I love
that by
that.
Thursday it'll sound like Bramble Fest never even happened.
Yes. Well, what a blast it was at Bramble Fest.
Oh, my gosh.
If you were able to join us, thank you. And if you weren't able to join us, how do you live
dare
with
you.
yourself?
Yeah.
How do you live with yourself?
You got to come next year. It was just so much fun.
Yeah.
I slept a lot.
So much sleeping.
So much sleep.
Oh, you actually, I still haven't. But
Oh, no. I went to bed at 8:30 Sunday night.
Yeah.
Yep. Slept
that's
almost 10 hours. It was wonderful.
No, that's great.
Needed it.
You're a good sleeper.
I am. I do. I look.
So jealous
I'm
of
not.
that.
I'm not good at much, but I can sleep with the best of them.
Yeah.
That sounded terrible. I can sleep better than anyone I know.
How do you know that? That doesn't sound great.
I just from like anecdotal
Observation.
experience.
Yes.
Okay.
I hear
Not
you're
that
like if I wake up, I'm up the whole time.
Yep,
no, I
that's
can
it.
go back to sleep whenever. Not a problem.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's
That is
amazing.
amazing.
Brian, welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
I know we've had you on a few times, and you've been doing the movies and mysteries the last few weeks, but now you're here, which is
here.
very exciting. Hallmark Channel. You're the guy that's going to be doing the Hallmark Channel movies now, which is very exciting. So how do you feel?
Dude, I feel like I made it to the big show.
The big
You
show.
know, big show.
The big show. It's like I liken it to the movie Rockstar with
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg.
With Mark
Yeah.
Wahlberg.
Where-
A lot of any rock star fans in the house. No.
1, 2.
No.
I see those hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how it feels.
Yes,
So
and
if
we
you-
feel that. It is like having Mark Wahlberg here as well. Which
I've
is-
heard that about myself. Thank you.
Or Andrew Walker. You look
Yeah.
exactly like Andrew
He looks
Walker.
like me. Is more.
That's
That's
exactly
right.
that's
right.
exactly
He looks
right.
like Brian Harold. Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
But how about yesterday, Panda's last episode? It was a real heartbreaker, heart tear jerker.
Yes.
Heart tear jerker. Yes.
All of those
Yep.
things. Love that guy, and it's gonna take a whole neighborhood to replace him. So we've got all sorts of people. Jack's coming in When Calls the Heart.
A village, if you will.
A village.
You said a whole neighborhood.
That's exactly right.
As Hillary Clinton said, it takes a neighborhood.
That's exactly right. Alonzo and Jack's going to be joining us all the time. Patrick's going to be seeing him more. So
He's getting better.
He's
Yeah.
CBing. He's going to CB in. Breaker. Should I drive on court? Who's going to pull it up? Over.
I think he stole that identity from the trailer. Over. Over. She's 30. She's back in high school. She's
It's a never been kissed situation. Over. It's never been kissed.
let's just say he's 18 for the sake of it. Let's hope if that's tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah, we're
tomorrow.
doing the jokes ahead of time.
Thanks
That's
a
how
lot
you
to
know
the
they're
court.
good.
Good to hear that.
Yeah.
But so much fun at Bramble Fest. It was a great time by all. And shout out to Andrew Walker and Antonio Caon for joining us. I think we had fun.
Oh my
I don't know
gosh.
if they did, but we had fun, and that's really all that matters. Today we're talking about dating the Delaneys.
Yeah, we are.
The Delaneys
So why
are
did this get pushed to Tuesday again?
because, well, one, we always do the new
Bramble
movies
Fest.
on
Yeah,
Tuesdays.
Jax was there. That's right. All right, yeah,
We
yeah.
always do the movies.
We all
on
do one on
Tuesdays.
Tuesday. That's right.
That's correct. Are you excited?
I'm pumped. I couldn't wait all year. I had this one marked on the calendar.
Yeah. Dating the Delaneys originally aired on August 20th, 2022, and it went a little something like this. Maggie is a stay-at-home mom, and the family is busy. Her her mom, Barb.
She's
She's
not a
not
stay-at-home
even close.
Why did I say that?
She runs
think
a bakery.
Yeah, I think at first I thought she was. And
With a
then I
little more
didn't- and then I
confidence
didn't.
next time, Harold. Harold looked at me and was like, she is? You want to start from the top?
No, but here's what I mean. So sometimes
You
she
hear that,
does.
stay-at-home moms? You can, in Brand's eyes, you can work a full-time job and you're still nothing but a stay-at-home mom.
What I mean though is like, aren't we all sometimes?
Fests were great. That's all.
Sometimes we're all like, sometimes we're all stay at home.
Sure.
Like we stay at home sometimes.
Yeah.
So like at the beginning of this movie, she is at home.
She was at home in the beginning.
And then
Maggie
we're
is
busy.
a mom that is at home.
Yep.
Also known in my book as a stay-at-home
Okay.
mom.
Connecting the dots.
You really
Great.
don't want to start over. You're gonna
No,
just-
I call when you are like what the world calls a stay-at-home mom, I call you a hero.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's where
where your brain goes.
that's on me though.
And if you had said Maggie is a hero, we would have all known.
Yeah, right.
Stay-at-home mom.
Such as just a baker.
Yeah.
So Maggie is a stay-at-home mom, and the family is busy. Her mom, her name is Barb, takes a fancy to a man doing yard work. You go, Barb. She owns a bakery, Maggie, not Barb, and is trying to get on this
I
baking
thought she was a
show.
stay-at-home mom.
Wait a minute.
No. She's not a hero. You're not listening, Brian. Brian, if you're gonna do this, you got to listen a little bit more clearly because
Listening ears on.
I don't mess up.
I mean, Beth Ann's in the chat right now. She just is thrilled about this conversation.
I said you're a hero. So sue me. So she wants to get on this baking show called Take It, Make It, Bake It,
Like
Fake It,
Quake it.
Earthquake It, Shake
stake
It,
Rake it.
Break it, stake
Bop
it.
it.
Twist it,
Ricky Bobby.
reverse it. 2 hops this time. She is walking into the high school gym to see her son's basketball game. Bumps into Michael. They know each other because they both have sons on the squad, as I like to say. And they end up going out to dinner afterwards. One night, her ex-husband tells her that he's getting remarried and he wants her and the kids to come to the wedding. Then she finds out that her mom is dating Rick. And her mom is like, don't even worry about it. I'm going to set you up. You're not going to be the only one in this family that's not dating somebody. So she goes on a date, and it is an absolute disaster. The next day, she decides to sign up for a dating app site web page and sees on the app Michael. He says that he's on the app, and if you want, I can kind of help you prepare to get comfortable dating again. We can go on a fake date so that you can kind of get your feet wet in the dating pool, if you will. And then her daughter, she's going to go out on a date. So many dates. So many dates. So many dates.
Is that like too many cooks?
Hey.
Wow.
Michael shows up to pick her up, and they have an awkward, fun banter time, almost like a real date would be. It turns out they have a pretty dang fantastic time. The daughter, though, did not have a great time, but that didn't stop them from having an almost kiss. But he has to leave early. He's going to go hang out with the bros. He's going to go hang out with the bros.
Gotta hang with the bros.
There's
They
nothing
text you,
else.
gotta go.
I got to go. But there is another guy, her chemistry partner, biology, science.
Chemistry.
That is pretty perfect for her. One might say they have chemistry. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. So Maggie and Michael have an unexpected fun video chat, as you do, and it is really something. They're sharing pictures of a screen on a screen. The sparks are flying. They're sharing truths about their lives. He agrees to help her get ready to feel comfortable in front of the camera for the baking show because she got selected, y'all. And he's in PR, so he's like, I know exactly how to do this whole thing. Then he takes her son fishing and comes over for dinner for a little fish night.
Fish night?
They are all loving it. And then he finds out that she's going to go on a date with someone else, and you can tell that really bums him out. So the date doesn't go great, but she does get invited to another one with this guy because Why not? Michael and Maggie, though, hang out one more time, and they're just Sparks. It's just Spark City over here. Population, these two. He decides to wink at her on the app. And that's how you know if someone likes you.
That's right.
So she films the Take It, Bake It, Shake It, Make It, Wick It, and it goes great. And after, they talk about the wink, and he's like, yeah, I want to go on another date, practice or otherwise. Okay. She goes back out with that one guy that wasn't great, but asked her on another one.
Steve.
And it's even more of a flop than the first one was, if you can believe it. And I think we're just going to leave it with that. We're not going to even go back out with that guy because he's a snooze fest. But then she's like, you know what? Maybe Michael is the guy. Opens up the app. Michael's no longer there. Just donezo with the app.
See ya, suckers.
The lab partner asks the daughter to homecoming. We know her name. We know his name. And we
Just
love...
saving him for later.
We love homecoming. We love homecoming proposals. Home prosals, as we call them.
Home prosals?
Home prosals.
Sounds like a weird appraisal of your home.
Yes, it is. That's probably better than homecoming.
I've heard promposals, but home prosals I've not heard.
That's something I'm working on.
Yeah.
It's time for the premiere of the Make It, Shake It, Bake It episode. And Michael shows up. As he does, he waves. And they all watch it. They love it. And then he hands her a barometer, which is a callback to after their first fake date where she said, you're my barometer for a nice guy. And he says, I don't want to be your barometer. I want to be like your guy. I want to go on dates. And she's like, oh, I love this. And then she takes the barometer. She made it point to him. It's real sweet. And they kiss, and then they celebrate by going to her ex-husband's wedding.
Hey.
And that, my friends, was Dating the Delaneys.
We did it. Quick point of emphasis for you, Bran. We were looking for single mom.
Yeah.
Single mom.
There it is.
Not
Single
stay-at-home
mom.
mom. Single
That's-
mom. That was from Susie Geisler. In the
So thank you, Susie. I do think, again, I don't want you to put words in my mouth, because if you really think about it, home is where you make it.
Home's where the heart is.
So like her bakery, in a sense, is also kind of like a home.
Always stays in her heart. She's always home.
We're going to take a quick break.
Home
We'll be right
proposals.
back here on Deck the
Deck the
Hallmark.
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 We're back. We're talking about dating the Delaneys.
Yes, we are.
So many Delaneys, so many dates, so little time. Let's break this episode down. Let's start with the hot take. Brian, I think this is going to be the hardest segment for you to kind of get a handle on because of how big the shoes are that you're filling. Panda, notorious hot taker.
Notorious hot taker.
You've only taken a few things that have been hot in your entire life.
That's it.
And
That's it.
so I know this is going to take a while, and I'm just asking the people to be patient here because like this is a big responsibility.
Thank you.
When I ask you this question,
Yes.
I know your brain must be just turning 1,000 miles per hour.
The bar is so low.
Yeah.
We'll keep it there.
So
Yeah.
let's just give an opinion,
Okay, that's all.
and it's going to be hot, no matter what it is.
No matter what, it's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot. Brian, what's your hot take, buddy?
Alrighty. My hot take. I liked it. That's it. Next question. No, so this one, I expected laughs. I expected some hijinks. I expected good performances, and mission accomplished. As simple as that. They did a great job with that stuff. What stood out to me, besides the obvious of showing 3 different phases of life, different relationships in those phases of life, that I really appreciated, I really liked, was how they kind of threw a little bit of trust in the audience. They did not handhold the whole time and explain every little thing that was going on in every scene. And there were a few things that happened in particular that stood out to me that demonstrate this. And one of them was the bad jokes were plentiful.
They go hard on the puns.
And they stuck with it, and they could have stopped, sprinkled in a little bit, like a dusting, and they didn't. And it's kind of risky, and I respected that they kept doing it because you knew it was going to alienate some people.
Yeah,
some people.
It's kind of like our podcast.
And then the scene where they played that photo game over the video chat where they talked about going out to eat. And I thought for sure, I was so disappointed when they did not go out to eat. I was bummed. I'm like, that would have been great if they had gone out to eat. And then the food gets delivered, and I was like, nice, you nailed it. Like, yes, that's different. They're putting some trust in the audience not to get, to stick with them through that little piece. And then at the when she ditched Steve, that was a little bit different. They didn't show her ditching Steve at the orchestra concert, but in my mind, she ditched Steve at the orchestra concert. And I thought, like, wow, they did not explain that. And I appreciated that they did not fill in every little detail.
I think you're giving this movie credit for things that they just did not edit well. they had too much movie. They didn't edit it well. And Brian's over here is going, I appreciate my hand not being held.
I love that. I love that. And the one thing I could have used, though, I don't want it to all, it's not all just praise, okay? I would have appreciated a little more of some of the baking scenes. A little more sifting, a little
more band
leveling.
practice. More band practice.
That's more practice, more cleaning.
You're a montage boy.
That's it. I guess so.
You're a montage boy.
I'm a narration montage boy.
Montage boy.
So I quite enjoyed this movie, to be honest with you. I think of the fall movies so far, this one's my favorite. It felt really good. I liked, there were a lot of...
So much fall in it.
Yeah, well, they do mention pumpkin spice, so it is by default the folliest fall movie. I really liked Rachel Boston and Paul Campbell together. I thought that both of them were really fun, and their funness combined was fun, super-tastic. So I really liked them together. I think there's some things that we'll get to in the Wait What that I wish that the show that she was doing, one made a little bit more sense and maybe was I don't need more baking practice, but I thought it was going to be a competition and then it wasn't, and I was a little bit let down by that. But overall, I thought that it was a really good time, and kudos to Hallmark for they didn't dive into all three of the love stories it wasn't even remotely equal. And I'm glad that it wasn't. I think because of the way that the synopsis was that they put out, 3 generations of Delaneys. I thought it was going to be one of those equal love stories, and I'm glad that it wasn't. Don't hear what I'm not saying, but I'm happy that they're continuing to branch out and tell a little different stories for different people, and I like that. Dan?
Yeah, I really didn't like this movie. It's not actively bad. Because you've got a lot of talent on board. It's not bad like Engagement Plot, which was yesterday, which is just they tried to make a movie without the things necessary to make a movie. But it is unfortunate that you have 2 of the quirkier, funnier leads that we have in Hallmark, Rachel Boston, Paul Campbell. And I think because of that, they feel the need, now that they've got the green light to be funny, to just try to layer on as many jokes as they possibly can, and it didn't feel natural. Also, it felt like we never saw, I guess Brian likes this, it felt like we never saw, I don't know if it's editing or just a choice, Rachel Boston falling for this guy. It feels like she's oblivious to his advancements, and then the next thing you know, she's like, yeah, I should probably wink back at him. It's for over an hour of this movie, she's like, great. And I guess there should have been this moment where she feels like the right guy's been standing in front of me the whole time, and I never feel like we build to that or we get it. We just get they have good chemistry, she realizes she should date him, and then they continue to have good chemistry. I never felt like there was an arc for her at all. And then my other issue is exactly what you said,
but
Bram,
wasn't it the wink? Isn't her getting the wink the realization?
Well, but she doesn't wink back right away. No. He winks. He's been trying to date her since the beginning of the movie. And they do a great job of making that clear. He comes up with every possible way to hang out with her without actually just, summoning the courage to ask her for on a real date. He does everything else. He's in from the beginning. He literally goes to sit by her at the first basketball game. For her, we never see the process of her falling for him. It didn't exist to me. To your other point,
but she gets the wink, and I think that's oh wow, he likes me.
She gets the wink.
But then she goes out on that the second bad date, and she's like, okay, I don't need to do this anymore. I know what I want now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the wink from him is about it.
No,
it's over halfway into the movie. Yeah. So all the stuff they do before it, all the other stuff, we don't have an arc of her falling for him at all.
She just didn't know it.
She just didn't know it.
She didn't know.
She don't need to hold her hand.
She knew it, but she didn't know it.
We didn't see it, and
she knew it in her head, not in her heart.
It was a both and. She's a stay-at-home mom. There's not.
What else do you need from her?
The other thing that you mentioned that I agree with is the movie's not called Paul and Rachel quirkily fall in love and only one of them knows it. It's called Dating the Delaneys, plural. And these other two Delaney relationships basically get shelved. It's a great idea for a movie. It wasn't edited well. It wasn't directed very well, and I didn't think the character arcs worked like they should. But the two leads cure a lot of that because they're quirky, they're funny, they're charming, and those two telling bad jokes is what people came to see, and they got it. So from that standpoint, and they mentioned Pumpkin Spice, which does make it the best fall movie.
That's exactly right.
It just wasn't good in my opinion.
It's time for all the feels. Brian, any feels for you, buddy?
A couple.
Okay. hit
Panda
me, baby.
feels.
Oh, yeah.
I had panda feels.
Okay.
The scene where the grandmother Barb and Rick, right?
Yes.
Were playing chess with a charcuterie board.
You got it. Charcuterie board.
Charcuterie board.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they made that scene for Panda.
They did.
And they missed them by just one
One
day.
episode.
One day.
That's right. Chess and charcuterie in the
mean,
same scene.
He would have been standing up applauding. It would have won him over
Yeah.
at that point. The other scene that I was really pumped, like fist pumping, was that restaurant scene where everybody knew they were on a blind date and the waiter was kind of helping her along to escape. And I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
Fist pump.
Yeah.
My feels is also that scene, but like the waiter, I don't know what it was about the waiter, but I was like, this kid's a star. This,
Yes.
You're
know
a
it.
star, kid.
you're
You're
a
going to go
star.
far here.
Hey,
You hear?
kid, can I interest you in a job?
You should be in the pictures, kid.
He should be. He was so good.
Yeah.
The kid had energy. He had
Moxie.
charisma. He had moxie.
And not just the drink on
What
tap.
was his name? What was his name, Brian? You looked him up?
Daryl.
Clamsy. I do have it.
Yeah, I know you do. Dating the Delaneys. Well, Dan, you go, and then I'll give the kid a shout out.
Yeah, well, my feels was going to be that scene as well. The whole restaurant collectively helping her out of a bad date, I do think is maybe my favorite scene in this movie, considering how bad the date was going. So, yeah, Bram, what was the name?
Stuart Prince, come on down. Shout out to Stuart. Stuart, if you are for some reason listening to this podcast, this podcast is actually just a Stuart Prince, fan podcast.
Pod, yeah.
But I loved you, Stu.
took a long time.
Keep
We
going,
got
buddy.
here.
Keep
We
going.
did. We practiced for
It's
500 episodes, but we're here now.
Like Maggie in this movie, we didn't know what we were looking for until we saw it.
It was a Stuart Prince fan podcast.
That's
until
exactly
it
right.
became a Stuart Prince.
That's exactly
fan
right.
podcast.
Just when you know, you know. So tomorrow we're going to be reviewing all of Stuart Prince's
And we'll
movies.
be done by the end of the week.
Yep.
Which it's going to give us 12 weeks. It'll give us 12 weeks.
And I don't think he's done. I don't.
No,
it can't be
Lord,
done.
no.
He's just getting started.
Yeah.
This guy is a rising star.
I mean, his first credit is Embrace of the Vampire, which he plays student number 1, in which I've been hearing about student number 1 for years.
You said his first thing.
His first thing, and then it came to me. I said credit. Give me credit for coming up with the word.
That's right.
Stay home, Mom. We're going to be right back here on Deck the Hallmark.
Stuart Prince.
Welcome back to Stuart Prince Has Game. It's time for the Wait What part of the
When
show.
we get to Stuart Prince's role in a little daytime drama, I'm very excited about Brand's take.
Yeah. Me too, man.
To see if we can make any new friends in the process.
And with that one, yeah. Let's do this. Let's get to the Wait What, and let's start with you, Brian. Brian, anything stick out to you that made you say Wait What while you were watching the Dream Show?
Just a few. What is time?
No, it doesn't exist in this movie.
In the context of this film, I don't know. They don't seem to know. There was this emphasis on like showing time or not showing time, whichever scene it was. They would show clocks with specific times on them, and so I'm like, okay, they're using time somehow. I don't know how. This will come up again at some point, maybe not. And then they do things like David, the ex, travels to Belgium and back in a day. Time travels.
Well, or we're supposed to believe that it's weeks later without any sort of
no
communication of that effect.
Yeah, and like when they were eating in the restaurant, all of a sudden dinner was over, and they're asking about dessert. It's like, well, there's no indication, like you said. So time was just a foreign concept.
These are just snapshots. This is just a tableau of snapshots in a person's life. It's like 500 Days of Summer when they're flipping through the days. They're out of order. You're supposed to piece it together.
Right. So that sounds maybe they're next level.
Can I ask you guys this? What's your favorite time?
Favorite time?
Daytime.
Every time.
Just
It's got to be the dentist's favorite time.
What?
What time is that?
2:30.
Oh my God.
Dating the Delaneys. Here's a joke.
Brian, you can see yourself out.
Okay. Well, there was one other. Two. Yeah, two. So at the Nollins restaurant, when they leave.
The Nollins restaurant? Yeah. You just threw it out there like you're from there. Like you're from the old
That's
country.
how we say
That's how we say it.
You're from Massachusetts, born and raised. I'm pretty sure that's a hate
Dad,
crime.
I've been there
did.
twice. Okay, I've been there twice, and I overheard somebody say Nollins once, and that's how you say Nollins.
You just casually threw it in there, like we were just like coast on by it at the Nollins restaurant.
Now I'm gonna have to add like a trigger warning at the beginning of this episode. This is not gonna be good for
People
anyone.
in Louisiana are like, did he say Nollins?
They're like, yeah, he did say Nollins. They left their desserts. The beignets did not even touch them.
Beignets.
Beignets. Okay, like Nollins.
Watch me whip. Watch me banana. Watch me whip.
They
Watch me banana.
Left them on the table. I mean, you're there.
Here in Nollins,
You're
we
at
call
a
them
Nollins
beignets.
restaurant. Eat the beignets. And they went
Apples
with
and bananas.
They went with a bacon cake.
It's a dish they have.
The only other thing, and Dan, I know you're gonna touch upon this, was the whole TV show.
Yeah.
She should. I'll go the baking route. You go the operation.
That's right. Yes.
Production route.
Fair.
She picked her cake the day before they filmed.
Yeah.
She printed recipes off the internet and was deciding between different. Like, you're going to be on a show.
Come on, man.
And she picked one that's not on her menu, I assume, it seems. So people are going to be knocking down her door two to three times the amount of business that she's used to, knocking down the door for a maple cake or pecan pie cake. And she doesn't have it, just like her chocolate chip salty sweet cookies doesn't have it on the menu. So I'm just like, what are we doing?
Imagine watching like Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives,
Yes.
and seeing like Paulie make the best lobster roll you've ever had. Then you show up at Paulie's and he's like, "We only do grilled cheeses. We don't. I'm sorry, we're fresh out. There's nothing we can do about it. That thing on TV, we don't sell that. We don't want to make money. We hate money.
Yeah, it hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop there.
All right. Back here in South Carolina, we just left Nollins. Beignets. That's more offensive than Nollins.
Yeah. I know. I think this was like a joke, but I do want to just say, like, if your initials are MD, I think this is the lesson to take away.
Yeah.
This is the takeaway.
Yeah.
Don't put that in your username because everyone's going to think you're a doctor. And I appreciate that this movie pointed that out for us because I don't think before this movie I would have given it any thought. But now we know, don't put MD in your name, even if your name is Maggie Delaney. Shout out to Hallmark for finally figuring out on the computer what Zoom looks like. Like, it looks great. You got the bar down there. It looks like Zoom. Congratulations. Now, the next step in this is having the phone match what the computer's doing. So if the computer's using Zoom, the phone should also be using Zoom. But whatever the other girl was having was not Zoom. This is just the little things in life. But listen, someone's got to point them out. Someone's got to point these things out. If we're doing a Zoom here, we got to do a Zoom there.
Here a Zoom, there a Zoom,
Everywhere Zoom. I love that they went to a concert that I think is only playing one very long song because they go in there and it's like, cut for a break, we're going to use a bathroom break. They come back in. I love that. It's a great song, so kudos to him for doing that. And I also got a kick out of when the episode ended, everybody in the living room was just still staring at the TV with the volume off.
Yeah, so they all had carbon monoxide poisoning.
It's like
they
when
just were stuck in place.
It's like when you finish a movie in the theaters and you're like, what if there's something after the credits?
Credits, yeah.
What if the actual competition part is after the credits? No? Okay, well, what can you do? Dan?
It's time for another trip to Dan's Restaurant Nightmares. 5 people sit down, including 3 teenagers, 2 of whom have just played a basketball game, and those 5 people are splitting one large pizza.
Yeah.
That's my nightmare. That's my nightmare. I'm looking around. I'm either going to just try to eat all the pizza before they can, or I'm just going to be like, well, I guess I'm just going to have to go get another meal.
Get my own pizza.
I mean, 5 people, one large pizza. That is
brutal.
I mean, that's terrible. We can't do it. I don't know. We can't. It's unfortunate for Rachel Boston that she made 2 movies that aired on the same weekend.
Right.
But that doesn't excuse the fact that for her profile pic on her dating site for this movie, she uses a picture that was clearly taken from the engagement plot where she's wearing one of the 18 hats that are in that movie. It's just ripped directly from it.
The unfair part of this is the fact that we have insider Jax who said that she got that hat from the movie. Like, they paid for the hat. And it's the same hat. Like,
same hat.
For sure the same hat. So that's unfortunate. There's no way Hallmark could have known that. There's no way they could have known it. It's just unfortunate for them that we watched them back to back. That's an unfortunate circumstance for everybody. But I'm glad to see that the UpTV hat budget is carrying over also into Hallmark.
Right. UpTV is just carrying Hallmark.
Hallmark's like, man, we haven't had to buy anybody a hat in years. Thanks to UpTV.
We once again have another baker on our hands that doesn't ever have to get up early to go and bake. And when she does go to bake, she never measures anything out. She just kind of scoops stuff with the cup, which is my favorite. I've baked once in my life, and I know that if you did that, nothing would turn out right unless you just had the recipe down in your sleep. So, no, absolutely not. At one point, they say pineapple upside-down cake is the #1 cake in the U.S.
They do.
I could find no such information. That's absurd. At one point, she goes on a date that is only not the worst date in the movie because the other guy stayed on his phone the whole time. She goes on a date with this guy for wine tasting. I don't know if he even knows she's there. It's a terrible date. And her friend asked her how it was. And she says, I would rate that date as okay. In what world is it okay? On a scale of, I believe you said at the time, on a scale of he murdered me till I'm falling in love, yes, that date is okay. That is the only...
Using her barometer.
That's right. Using her barometer of a good date, okay, is something. They finally get some of her sweet and salty chocolate chip cookies, which, can I just say, our buddy Brian Harold makes the best sweet, salty chocolate chip.
Are there any?
Ooh,
I mean,
check it out.
just unbelievable. And he's a baker. This guy's a real legit baker over here. Well, I've been eating. I've been eating those all week, and they're delightful. And then I see the monstrosity that they have in front of them, and it looks like the worst cookie I've ever seen. And I know that that's tough for props and whatever. It just looks really, really bad. I am happy that we see 2 basketball games, and the 2 teams playing are the same in both of them. Another Titan clash between red and blue.
Yeah.
Another one for the books.
Classic.
That's really fun. And I do want to be clear. This dad, this ex-husband, he is available for anything. He is game for whatever, unless it has to do with his kids. If she needs him to come over to the bakery for something, he's there. To the house, he's there. Unless it has to do with his kids. Then he's on the clock. He's got things going on. So, like, you need me, I'll be there at a moment's notice. Unless my kids are involved, then I just can't make it.
The kids this weekend, I'm all leaving the country. I'm sorry.
That's right. I'm in Brussels for the next 10 hours. I'll be in Brussels. There's nothing I can do about it. But after Rachel Boston reads in the riot act, he still has the gumption to take a roadie cupcake, which I admire to be that confident. To be like, I get it. You think I'm a bad father. I'm going to take a roadie cupcake. You baked these. You think I'm a bad father. I'm going to take one, hold a cheers up in the air, and head for the exit. That is some gumption there, sir.
You're a great baker. I'm mad. I do feel your anger, but you're also a great baker, and I don't know what you want from me.
Compliments to the show.
It's time for What the Hallmark is. Partially, we wonder what could have been. Maybe I think it's acquired what should have. Brian?
Yeah, I couldn't figure out how successful her bakery was and why she wanted a second one. Like, why didn't you just pour all your resources into one bakery, fill up your menu with all these secret recipes that you share with people on national television, and just focus there? And I mean, you have a second bakery, you're gonna have to get up early, like you said. She's not into that, so
I don't think she would be like hands on in both of them. No.
Well, you got to start it.
Do you know about franchising? Have you heard about it?
Two's better than one.
Oh,
You
so
ever
maybe
heard of
she's
They don't
trying to
do that
step
down
back.
Nolans.
Nolans doesn't work that way. It's all
that?
one.
If you have a
you're in.
benet shop that's doing well, you just stick with it. You ride her straight on out. You don't.
that
you don't
owner's not in the back
No.
making beignets for you. Yeah, I don't know. I was just wondering how successful.
That's fair. Well, she does say that I think the second one is dependent on the show because she says like every time someone gets on the show, there's a big, because everyone's watching the show.
Boom
It's
or
a
bust.
big rise. Yeah. I want to know, Dan, you mentioned that it was the same basketball team back to back.
Yeah.
So in the first game, they're doing very bad. They're getting blown out.
They were down by 8. Because in the
Okay.
first game, she says they're down by 8, and she's like, hey, man, that really could use a win. But they lost.
And the sister's like, that's never going to happen, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And the next game, they win. So I'm kind of invested in this team. This seems like a team that's
bullies?
on the rise. I want to know who I should can I keep cheering for them? Very excited about what they got going on there at that program. I have all the faith in the world in Coach Lahunahan, and so I just think they're going to.
Coach L, man, he's good.
He's so
he's
good.
an institution for
He's an
the
institution.
freshman basketball team.
Have you seen the documentary on him?
Dude, he was my mentor. My
mentor.
mentor, yeah.
Dan?
Yeah, let's talk cake TV show. Cake it, bake it, make it,
Cake it, bake it.
wake it.
Earthquake it.
Wake it and bake it.
Flip it over.
I'm very confused as to what this is. This seems more like a 5 minutes like YouTube video sponsored by like a city's tourism company. Like we have shows on the Food Network that are competitions.
Yep.
And we have shows on the Food Network that go to restaurants because they're interesting. But we don't have any show on the Food Network that I'm aware of that does what this show does, which I believe is spend an hour with one person that makes a specific type of food only in the same town. How many cake bakers, local artists can be in Seattle? I've been to Seattle. I'm sure you could find a couple dozen. How many good ones are there? This is a show that is so popular that it's going to change the landscape of her business, but yet it only exists in Seattle and only for local cake bakers. That is a micro niche. I don't know what that is going to possibly do. How many weeks in a row has it been airing? How many seasons? How long did it take to get to her? How many bakers do they think are better than hers? Because there's no competition here. It just doesn't I couldn't make heads or tails of it.
Fair.
Right?
That's fair.
Yeah.
It was kind of frustrating. Same thing. I thought it would be a competition.
Yeah.
Thought she was up against somebody.
Because I think part of it was because of the name. It sounds like
Yes.
there's going to
Make
be
it,
like 3
bake it,
stages of
cake
the
it.
competition.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the actual name of it?
Make it, bake it, cake it.
Make it so like you have to make something that's different than baking.
Yes.
Take it. Then you have to make something to go, and then bake it. It's the dessert. I thought it was going to be like a 3-stage.
Doesn't make. I don't want to be clear. That doesn't make any sense.
But I get
Make it and bake it.
That's
are
actually-
the same.
that's
They're
actually-
the same.
That's
The
actually,
same. And-
no.
and
One is
cake
very
it.
elaborate. The other
Cake it
is
would
only
be,
like
Are you going to cake something that is not a cake? Make it and bake it, same thing. You're just not getting out of that one.
no.
Stay at home mom.
I think this is actually why they ended up going in this direction. The same conversation happened in the room.
Yeah.
Like, forget it.
There's nothing we can. It's the same. Forget it. Just make it a thing where you just see the
Make it,
people.
bake it, cake it, just make
Just-
whatever.
just make it.
Nobody's going to care.
We did everybody. Congratulations. Really quickly, we had a double decker of the week.
double decker of the week was
so
yesterday,
panda.
so we're not gonna do that.
But we do have plans for that in the future, which we're very excited about. It might take a couple of weeks to get up and running, and so if you don't hear a double decker of the week for a couple of weeks, just know that we're working on it. We got great plans.
It'll be back.
It'll
Don't
be
worry.
back. Don't you worry. And so just wanted to put that out there. And we'll be back tomorrow with a Deck the Lifetime Uncorked identity theft of a cheerleader.
Boy.
Live from Bramblefest. It's a good time. You're not going to want to miss it. Until then, may we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark is the That Sounds Fun podcast. It's produced by Tracy Nillis Name. It's recorded live in, that Greenville, South Carolina. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com.